obviously she's taken some type of narcotics while we've been on the air.
Welcome to a special Hawk Dewey episode of Cue the Mic. I'm David Worth.
And I'm the beautiful Randy Twyford. Thank you.
And I'm Emma Derflinger, and this is episode 62. Darren, what was that?
Haven't you heard of the Hawk Dewey? Haven't you heard of the Hawk Dewey craze?
Oh my God, I've heard of it.
On
Emma,
what?
you haven't heard of the Hawk Dewey?
No.
You gotta be kidding me.
I am not. Me. What's it from?
You have not heard of Hawk Dewey?
No.
I knew I should have had this queued up. Oh my God. Okay.
Is it a social media thing? Because I'm going to get this out open.
TikTok.
It is.
I deleted it.
No, here.
There's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time.
Oh, you gotta give him that Hawk Dewey and spit on that thing. You get me?
I could have gone my entire life with
and spit on that thing.
No, I could have done without that. Actually.
So it was an interview thing that they asked this gal in Nashville. One of the interview things, they're always walking up to these drunk girls and said, what's one sexual move in bed? And she goes, all you gotta do is get up to them and grab it and say, give them a big old Hawk Dewey on the end of it. And it went viral. It went viral. Well, and this went out like on Tuesday, I think, Tuesday night. And the first thing I thought is, this is a damn preacher's daughter. Right. That's the first thing that came to my mind. And it went through and everybody was trying to find this chick. Right. They were trying to find this chick. Yeah. Well, guess what? They find the chick, 25-year-old preacher's daughter.
You're
from
kidding
Franklin,
me.
Kentucky. Preacher's daughter from Franklin, Kentucky.
No kidding. Daddy's happy.
So in the interview, they talk about how do you get over a breakup, right? She goes, the best way to get over a breakup is to get under another one. Emma, I can't believe you hadn't heard of the Hawk Dewey.
In my
it is all over Instagram. It's all over TikTok. It's all over everywhere. There's T-shirts being made. Everybody, all the major players all have Hawk Dewey everywhere.
So about...
Isn't that funny?
2 weeks ago, I deleted all my social media. The only thing I have is Cue the Mic's on my phone specifically. The only thing I have is Cue the Mic's Instagram, which the only videos I see on that are food videos that I send to myself for when I decide to download or turn on my own accounts again. But yeah, I'm out of the loop.
Why did you delete everything?
Mm-hmm. It's just one of those like I could really just use a mental break and not just doom scroll all the time. So I've been trying to get into more like, I don't know, reading and hobbies. The only thing I have done is play an insane amount of Tetris, like a stupid amount of Tetris. But I'm not scrolling on TikTok.
You're wasting.
So you're not gaining anything.
Way.
Nah, I mean, I'm making my brain work. I think Tetris is very soothing. I like puzzles. So.
Oh.
I don't even know what Tetris is, so.
It's that block game where, like, you get little pieces and you have to make them fit, and they have to, like, get in a line, and you gotta... It's a game. A fun game. A mind
Probably
game.
Something Sherry plays. Sherry plays games because she thinks she needs to exercise her mind because she's losing it or something.
Same.
God only knows I need to.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Kind of fun.
Hey, I saw...
It just keeps me from scrolling.
I saw... Well, back to this Hawk Dewey thing.
Do we have to?
I saw that. Yeah, we got to. This is our social media segment.
Okay.
I saw that, and then I started seeing more of it. And it's funny as shit. It really is. If you haven't seen it, it's funny. But isn't it amazing how something so off the cuff, so simple, takes off? I mean, who in their mind would have said, do you think that girl really, after she's about half smashed in the bag, that she would have thought, okay, now if I say something about doing a hot tui on some guy, that I'm going to get, I'm going to go viral and become famous. Hell, she'll probably be on some show, you know. She's been.
They've contacted her, and her dad, who's the preacher, said, "I sure wish she would have been spreading God's word instead of stuff like this." But she's like, "Hey, I am who I am, right? I said what I said. I'm not taking it back. I'm not apologizing. I am what I am. I was having fun. It was a girls' night out, and I was having fun, and it was just funny. And it just goes to show that at any moment, anything can go viral. And I'm not sure. I think we talked about this last week. I never know what we talk about, but it just goes to show about social media and, you know, what can go viral and what cannot. And
exactly,
you know, why social media sometimes works for Randy and doesn't necessarily work for us.
Right.
What responds? We had this conversation this week about the breakfast restaurant. We post something out about the new breakfast restaurant coming up, and everybody listens to it. Everybody responds to it. We post something about Smokey D's, and we get very little. And you know, just because you're using social media, but just because you're posting something about something new sandwich and it goes viral doesn't mean people are going to eat that sandwich, right?
Right.
Yeah. It doesn't mean people, because the percentage of people that are going to back to the egg tuck thing, right? I love seeing the egg tuck sandwiches. I'm never going to get to eat an egg tuck sandwich because I'm not going to ever go to LA and eat an egg tuck sandwich, right? Now, if I ever get a chance, I'll probably eat it and go, this is uneventful.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I may try and recreate it myself. Well, I probably not even do that, but
yeah, it is truly amazing.
It's just interesting that you, especially in the restaurant space, where you try and get food to go viral, but really all you're trying to get people to do is buy your food in the restaurant business, right? Mm-hmm. That's really what you want. You want customers through the door.
Yeah.
And are you really accomplishing that through social media? I would say me, no. Randy, yes.
Right.
Me, no. Right? I'm accomplishing it other ways. Now, I'm not saying that my social media isn't helping with my search engine optimization and my Google search and whatever, but I would say our Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives probably has done more for that than anything.
That's amazing to me. It's still, I was telling somebody the other day about our conversation on that, about how much it's increased your business and stuff. And how long ago was that, Darren?
2013, so 11 years.
Yeah, 11 years.
And it's still got traction.
Still got traction.
A lot of it.
You know, you talk about stuff that picks up on it. The other day, Collie, one of my main men, he took trash down to the dumpster. You saw, and he was down by the road, and they were leaving with a truck, and so he was down there like he was hitchhiking. So I took a picture of him, looked like he was hitchhiking.
I saw that.
Yeah, there you go. You saw it. It got picked up quite a bit. I mean, a lot of people liked it and stuff like that and forwarded it and stuff. So just, you know, Collie down there with his thumb out hitching a ride, you know. It's amazing.
That's just because it's authentic.
There wasn't any food or anything involved.
Authenticity.
But it got out, got our name out.
Yeah, mm-hmm. we were down yesterday doing an event down at Principal Park, and there was some of the Iowa Cubs interns or whatever, the maintenance crew or whatever, they were helping dumping trash and doing all this stuff. And here comes a couple guys up and they they had t-shirts on, and they rolled up their sleeves, and they were just built like brick shit houses, right?
Right.
You know, they really worked out, but they had farmer's tans. And old Joe Osbrink, he was from Never Easy Barbecue. He was helping me, and they were just, I'm like, these boys had farmer's tans, and they rolled up they had rolled up their sleeves, and they were sitting there eating a pork sandwich, and Joe goes, "Wow, boys, you look like you ought to be working on the Twyford food truck." we should have been taking pictures of them. That's it, and we could have put them as recruits for the Twyford food truck. So.
Oh, good Lord. Good Lord.
Anyway, what else went on this week? Hot week.
Well, speaking of the Twyford food truck, you know, I was thinking about that this morning. You come on here and you know, you talk about how things are so good, and you know, our sales have been increasing each week and everything. Well, we finally got kicked in the ass a little bit by Mother Nature. Our sales have been off this last week across at all of our venues. And I know it's just for the heat. I mean, we're like everybody else in the Midwest. We're getting hit with this massive heat wave. And you would think, my thought was, okay, we're just right outside of outside of an office building, or, you know, somewhat close, but we're still, I mean, people aren't coming out as much to eat and stuff. And have you seen any, the same thing happen at the restaurant, affect the restaurant any of your deliveries or anything, Darren? But it's had an effect on our food truck.
You know, no. And I tell you, you would think we normally, after we get through this Pork Expo, then we're like, that's when we start to take a breath. Right. We finally, you know, it starts at the end of April and things go crazy all the way through May, graduation season. We just get piss pounded the entire month of May. And then right as soon as we get done, we get right into Pork Expo and we get piss pounded that entire week. Right. And then we finally get through there and we say, you know, and it just didn't happen this year. I mean, it's like we got hit with, especially like Wednesday. I mean, we got popped with a 25th anniversary out at Mom's Meals we'd had a 651 person one at the same time. You know, I eliminated a position at our company, and I eliminated it on the wrong day. Right. So I eliminated a position of one of our key players that just wasn't working out. Well, I forgot to kind of check the schedule, and that person was grilling for the Iowa State football team the next day. So you know who became the griller in the 90-degree weather? Well, it actually wasn't bad because it was a chance of rain all day long. So we actually got one break. So it was kind of drizzly and stuff. So I had to go.
What'd you grill?
I think that was Wednesday. So I had to grill. We did our smokehouse burgers, which we actually grind our own burger, and we grind brisket fat and brisket trim into the burger. Right. And then we smoke the burger at the restaurant, and we just smoke them up to like 140 degrees, something like that. And then we put them in a Cambro. And then when we take them up, we grill them off on we got a big Holstein grill that's on its last leg. That's a whole nother story. But and then we did
about that one day.
Oh my God! Well, I'll tell you about the story about Wednesday after I get done. But then we did brats that we cooked in the oven. We pre-cooked them because you just can't cook one from raw on the gas grill. Right. So we pre-cooked those, and then we had some 6-ounce chicken breasts that I actually cooked from raw. So of course, they're football players, so they get one of each. And so we had 185 chicken breast, we only had 100 chicken breasts, but we had 185 burgers, 185 brats, and all the fixings. So I did all that grilling by myself on this. But you know, funny story. I'm Mr. Prepared, you know, so we didn't have to grill till like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I said, hey, I'm going to run up with the grill and the brats and stuff. I'm going to get up there about an hour early. I want to get stuff going ahead of time. I want to make sure that everything's going. And you guys come up with all the side dishes and Schaefer's and stuff. You know, you can be an hour behind me. And so it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go get this grill out of storage. We just used it a couple weeks ago, and I told them not to book any more grilling events. But they're like,
Right.
well, everything worked perfect last time, so we just thought we'd book another event.
Right.
Well, I go to pull out of the parking lot, and I look in my rearview mirror as I'm turning the corner, and the wheel is doing this.
Oh, shit.
And I could tell the bearings were fucked in this grill. And I'm like, are you shitting me? And so just so happens 5 minutes before, my brother-in-law had sent me a message saying, hey, what's for breakfast? And I sent him back a message, and I said, what, aren't you working today? And he's like, nah, I'm playing golf at 7:30. And I said, you at home? Yeah. And I said, I'll be right over. What for? And I said, we got a trailer to fix. So I backed 5:30 in the morning. I backed the trailer in, and we had to repack the bearings on the trailer.
Oh, Jesus
5:30 in the morning, we're out there repacking the bearings. We didn't replace the bearings because we didn't have any at 5:30 in the morning. So we just tightened them up and repacked the bearings at 5:30 in the morning, got them tightened enough to get us to Ames. So we got that all done. And as I was pulling back in from Ames, I could notice the wobble was back.
Oh, boy.
And I'm like, no more grilling things, no more grilling. But we got her all done. I got to spend, about 10 minutes good quality time with the Iowa State football coach. He was very appreciative of coming up and grilling for the team, and glad that I showed up, and everything was great. And it was actually a good time once you're doing it. But boy, I've been having some middle of the back issues, and man, doing that much grilling, and that was twice in 1 week, Darren running the grill for huge crowds. And that was,
hey, let's revisit this grilling thing. Because I think a lot of people get into trouble when they're grilling, say having some friends over and stuff and going to do a grill deal, and they put the raw hamburgers. They say they go to Sam's or wherever and get the pre-made patties and, their ground meat that they don't grind at Sam's anymore anyway. So, but the way you cook those burgers and brats, is that something somebody could use at home? Like if they're having a group of people over, instead of standing out there for 2 hours and having it look like a goddamn fireworks thing because the grill's on fire and stuff like that. Is that something, how would they do that for the out on the back porch type deal?
Well, yeah. I mean, I like doing brats. I don't like to smoke brats. Even though it's super easy to do. But the problem is, if you put a brat on a smoker, even if you don't put any wood on it, if you put a brat on a smoker, it's going to get a pink ring around it, and people are going to think it's raw.
Well,
right?
Good point.
It's going to have a pink ring around it, and people are going to think it's raw, and so they're not going to want to eat it. Even though the pink ring's on the outside, not on the inside, they're going to think it's raw. And so we've done it one of two ways. You either put it in a pan, put it in a foil pan, and put some beer in it, put some water in it, whatever, and foil it, saran wrap it, and put it in the oven and cook them up. And cook them up to like 155.
Okay.
Internal temperature, right?
What temperature are you cooking at? 350?
Oh, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. We cook these at 300.
Okay.
We cooked them at 300. They took about an hour, and he stacked them. We were in 8-inch deep pans. He stacked them way too deep. So we were anywhere from, when we were done, we were at 130 to 150. But I just checked every temperature of every one on the grill. So I had to cook some a little bit longer on the grill than others.
Sure.
But brats ended up being like their own internal temperature. So like as I was grilling those brats off, so they were pretty much cooked. Right.
When you brought them to the grill.
Because once I put them in the Cambro, they continued to cook some.
Sure.
And all I was doing was really putting a grill mark on them, and I was there for show.
Right.
But when I put them on the grill, there was different hot spots on the grill. But as soon as I saw the first flare up, that brat was done because it started to spit the juice, and I could take it off, and it was done. So it was kind of an internal temperature, and you can overcook the shit out of it.
You didn't have to leave it on there and keep temping it and everything. It's when it started spewing, That was when you figured that's when she was
taking
done.
them up to. I was taking them up to. They were finishing at 175, 180, just because I was temping a few, and they were just juicy as could be. I mean, there's so much fat in a brat. The only thing I cooked from raw was chicken, but I was using a marinated chicken breast, a pre-marinated frozen chicken breast that we had thawed out, and they weren't very thick. Same ones we use for our chicken sandwich. And they weren't very thick. So, I mean, but once again, when I grilled those off, I was seasoning them, spraying them with Pam, putting them on the grill, seasoning them again when they were on the grill, spraying them with Pam, flipping them over when they looked dry around the outside, flipping them over. I was taking them to about 145 and throwing them on a top shelf on the grill and just letting them sit there. And I put a little water in there. And they were amazing. I mean, they were crazy. I got so many compliments about how juicy that chicken breast was. And I even tried one after the entire crowd was gone. We had about 15 of those chicken breasts left over. And they'd been sitting there for 2 hours on a Schaefer. I went back and grabbed one and tore open into it, and it was just juicy as shit. Now, if I would have said like everybody says and take that sumbitch clear up to 165 degrees, it would have been bone dry and just a junk. Right. But if you undercook it and let it rise up and let it finish off.
Because you're going to be holding it.
So much better.
You're going to be holding. Even the backyard guy is going to be holding.
Even the backyard guy. Well, and fact of the matter is, at home, I never, ever, ever, ever take a chicken breast above 145 degrees. And you can fight me on that all you want. I have fed my family for years and years and years. I take my chicken breast to 145 degrees and I let it rest. I take it at 145 degrees and I let it rest. I'll cover it up. I'll let it rest on the counter for 10 minutes. That chicken breast will come up. It's never has any pink inside of it. It never once has any pink. I feed the entire family. Nobody has ever gotten sick on it. And it's juicy, juicy, juicy. If you take that chicken breast to 165, like they say on the grill, and you take it up all the way and let it do that same process, that chicken breast is going to be at 185 when you're done. And it's going to be drier than a popcorn fart.
Question. You said on there when you cook those chicken breasts on the grill, you were hitting them with Pam a lot. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, so a lot of people, when they grill, they'll spray the surface of the grill and then put their meat down. Well, that burns off in about 5 seconds, right?
I agree.
So when you spray, and it smells like shit, right?
Yes.
It smells like fish oil, dead fish when you spray that. I like to spray the meat so that when I put it down, then so I always spray all my meat when it goes on the grill. And then when I put it on the grill, then I'll, if I've got both sides seasoned, then I'll spray the top of it right away, or I'll spray it when I get ready to flip it when it's sitting on the grill. So when I turn it over, then it's got that sealant and I never have any sticking problems.
I'll be damned. Let's revisit the hamburgers. I mean, I think how many people 4th of July have friends over, like I said, and what would be the process for somebody to cook those burgers the same process as you did, but at home?
Yeah, just pre-cook them. Put them on a sheet pan, put them in the oven. Just pre-cook them because you can get that char flavor on the grill at the end, right?
Right.
So instead of trying to cook that burger all the way through, now a lot of people now are into the smash burger thing, and you're not going to pre-cook a smash burger, right?
Right.
If you got the Blackstone, but if you want to cook, especially a thick burger, let's say you want to cook a thick burger, you can cook it to 10 degrees underneath whatever you want to cook it to, right?
What would you recommend? What temperature?
It just depends. I think if you have enough fat, like we put a lot of fat in our burgers, so we can cook our burger up to 165 and it's still going to be juicy as could be, right? Because our burger, when it's done, it probably is a 70-30 burger. So we, on purpose, because I'd rather add a lot of fat to a burger and cook them to almost a well done and still have them juicy
Right. I agree.
rather than have pink in the middle of a burger, because half the people don't like pink in the burger.
No,
So I'd rather have it. I'd rather have an overdone burger that people go, oh, this is overdone. Oh, that's still juicy, than something that says, oh, I don't like this because it's not done. Right. Yeah. So we purposely we put a lot of fat in our burger when we do it for groups, and we grind it ourselves. We go down to about a 70-30 mix. So we'll take them up to like 155 in the smoker, because we do a smokehouse burger. We actually smoke the burger, and then we'll let them sit out for a little bit, stack them in a sheet pan, or stack them in a pan, and then we'll put them in a Cambro, transport them out, and then I'm taking them out and just putting them a char and finishing them off on our big Holstein gas grill.
Right.
And so that temperature starts to come down. So when I was taking them out, they were at like 140 degrees, even though they had been up to done. And then I'm taking them back up and heating them back up to 145, 150.
Okay.
But they've already reached their temperature, but I'm putting a nice grill on them, making them and they look so juicy, and they just look so great on the buffet line. I mean, it was amazing. But it's all about the process. You can cook all that stuff ahead of time. Now, the chicken breast, you're probably better from raw. We've cooked them ahead of time, but it's always an insurance policy.
Yeah, I just think for the guy, you go over to somebody's house, and if you ever get invited, we never get invited anywhere anymore because we're usually doing something. But anyway, when you go over there, there'd be, like a dozen people there, 8-10 people. Mm-hmm. And then here come the whole process of cooking the burgers. Well, they bring them out raw, put them on the grill. There's the fire and all that stuff. And the guy hosting the party doesn't get to enjoy it because he's too busy fiddle fucking around with that, right. So that
especially if you do it, Randy, let's say people want a medium burger, right? So a medium burger, let's say, is 135 degrees, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If you really want to do that, then cook all the burgers to 130 degrees, right? And hold them. And then the guy that wants his medium, just put it on the grill for a minute each side.
Right.
And then the guy that wants it medium well, put it on the grill for 2 minutes each side. And the grill that wants it well done, put it on for 3 minutes each side. And you can stage them that way instead of trying to figure that out from raw.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's a great idea.
The whole staging thing. I mean, if you go out to YouTube, Winston CVAP has a great video. Winston Industries, CVAP. There's a burger video out there. There's a very, I'm trying to think of the restaurant name, but there's a restaurant.
The Brothers.
If you put is it the Brothers? They stage on these Winston. They cook these really, really thick burgers in a Winston CVAP.
They're in a lot of the Hy-Vees now. They're in the Hy-Vees now.
So they pre-stage these burgers. And when they take these burgers out, they cook them to an exact temperature. It's like sous videing them, but it's on a sheet pan. Mm-hmm. And then when they take them out, these burgers look horrible.
Yes.
But then they take them out and they season them and they put them on a flat top and they sear both sides exactly to how they're done. And that's their service. Otherwise, if you were trying to cook that burger, it would take them 15 minutes to get done, but they can get service in 2 minutes or 3 minutes. And it's exactly the same all the time.
Well, and I think Winston, as you also got a few pieces of their equipment. They always said that when they were talking about doing the burgers in their CVAPs is, you can take and pay a guy, you're paying a guy to sit there and try to cook that burger and try to get it the right temperature as of with their equipment. And it'd be just like cooking it in the oven. That's the nice, sweet thing about your process that people could do. Is they could just put them in a sheet pan on the oven, like you were saying, and they're all going to be the same temperature. You run them up to 135.
And if I was really smart, I would have taken all my burgers and all my brats and put them in the Winston CVAP and set them to exact temps and whatever. But I really wasn't that smart.
Right.
Because a lot of times I don't utilize the Winston. We utilize them for cooking side dishes and retherming some stuff.
Here.
I didn't think of that I could have used the same exact process for my burgers, or I used the I wanted to put smoke on the burgers, but the brats I could have just laid on a sheet pans because it also helps your yield, keeps them nice and juicy and whatever. But that process of doing that, because your brat, by cooking in the oven, plumps it up. And so the less time you spend on the grill, the less shrinkage you have.
Right.
Right. And so my brats that I was turning out at that Iowa State football deal were like huge. They were bun size. They weren't shrunk because as you cook it out and all that juice is spattering out, it's shrinking your brat, where I had very little juice. It was just, as soon as it started to spit juice, I was taking it off the grill and it was going to the buffet line. So all in all, it was good. So yeah, I had my fill. And then yesterday we had one of my don't know how to say no things.
Yeah.
Iowa pork producers asked me a few months ago if I could come out and do something for their barbecue and brews event. And I wasn't in town last year for it. It was their first year event last year where they had a kind of a microbrew festival and they had a backyard barbecue contest.
Oh, okay.
And they wanted somebody to cook some pork loins and hand out free pork loin sandwiches. So I said, yeah, I'll do it. And my buddy Joe Osbrink said, hey, I'll come help you. So we had about 250 pounds of pork loin we needed to cut. And Berkwood Farms, they're a local Berkshire farm here. They donated all the pork loins. So we went out at 8:30 yesterday morning and started cooking pork loins. And they were big pork loins. So we cut them in half and seasoned them. And then we just kind of staged them and kind of cooked all day long. And we were cutting up slices of pork loin, putting them on a slider bun, putting them in a little Chick-fil-A bag. And then they had coolers and they had volunteers that were handing them out. And I mean, it went crazy. Like for the first hour, we went through 400 sandwiches in the first hour.
Wow.
Holy crap.
We ended up serving, 700 or 800 pork tenderloin sandwiches throughout the day. So we were there from 8:30 in the morning on the asphalt until 7:30 last night, 7:15 last night. So
it looked like a cool event.
Now, how'd you cook those pork loins? It was a long day of grilling. How'd you cook those pork loins?
I had the Jambo out there. And,
so offset.
We were just, offset. We were just staging them, and I just was running charcoal and wood and just cooking away, and we just let the pit run. And, sometimes we got a little behind on staging, so I just cranked up the tent. Some we cooked at 300, some we cooked at 350. And then the ones last night we were trying to leave and they said, hey, can you cook these 2 more cases of pork loins? So that they had 2 extra cases. And they said, hey, can you cook these 2 more cases that we can take to the food shelter? Yep. We'll do that. And we had cooked enough that we had enough sitting in the Cambro to slice up for the public. And so we're wanting to get the crap out of there. We've been sitting on that asphalt and it's 92 degrees outside. And, we're like, yeah, we'll do it. And we had 3 huge half pork loins and they just wouldn't get done. And Joe's gone, we're going to be here another 45 minutes. I said, oh no, Joe, we're not going to be. We just got to figure out how to cook these. Well, how are we going to do this? And so I took the pork loins and I leaned them up where the fire comes out of the Jambo into the chamber.
Right.
And I leaned them up against her and I shut the lid and I did that about 3 times and it took about 10 minutes and I took a 10. I said, here, 140 degrees. Here we are. He's like, that's brilliant. I said, you just got to know how to use the tools, man. Because I left my microwave shelf, the big shelf at home, because I'm like, I don't want to reach around that thing. I'll burn my hand all day long. He's like, where's your microwave shelf? And I'm like, I left it at home. So we made our own little microwave shelf. But it worked. But, yeah, we were cooking those pork loins. I was cooking them to 138 degrees and just letting them sit out for a little bit, putting them in the Cambro, and we were just rotating in and out, pans all day long. And I hand sliced every one of them son of a bitches. Did 9 cases of pork loin and hand sliced them, and we made them, put them on a slider bun, threw them in them Chick-fil-A bags, and they were in a pork bag. It looked like a little Chick-fil-A bag, but pretty good system. Had some had the pork queens were helping us. The past pork queens were helping us.
Okay.
That's cool.
So they had a pretty good turnout for this event?
Yeah. They had, I'm guessing, I don't know, 1,500, 2,000 people through.
Wow.
And they were, $15, I think, to get in. And before that, you got to go. They were handing out little 3 and 4 ounce samples from 15 different breweries. And you got, you could come up and get 2 or 3 pork loin sandwiches if you wanted. And then they had a People's Choice where the competitors turned in their pork loin and turned in pulled pork. So you could stand in line for an hour and a half if you wanted and get, 30 pork loin samples and 30 pulled pork samples.
Right.
And then they had a band playing. It was a really nice event. It was hot, but people were standing out there. So
yeah.
Pretty drained today. I'm not looking forward to. I got a van full of stuff to go unload and a pit to go
that's
clean.
always the worst thing.
Woohoo!
I know. I didn't want to deal with it.
You
last
drag all
night.
that shit home, and then it's like, oh fucking, where do you even start?
Right.
That's kind of the thing I hate the most about a catering is I don't mind the unloading, but it's the loading up of getting all that stuff back in the van. And then when you get back home, it's like, did I just throw this shit in here, or what?
Right.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Trying to figure out all of a sudden, I've been having trouble with this damn power cord on this computer, and all of a sudden now I get a message that I'm plugged in, but now I'm getting a message that
it's time.
Now
why don't you just start using my old computer?
Going dead. Because I don't want to. And so now all of a sudden I'm trying to figure out why my power cord's not powering my computer.
Woohoo!
And so you may have to start. Now it says I'm plugged in. Don't touch it.
Okay, good.
Don't touch it.
Don't
even look at it.
Don't touch it.
There you go.
Okay. We're back. We saved
we
ourselves.
were talking last week, even though it aired after Father's Day, we were talking about how Father's Day is one of your busiest days of the year. How did that turn out, and how did you handle doing all that?
Well, Father's Day was a shit show. No, it wasn't a shit show. Actually, I'm telling you, I went in. I was there for just a little while.
Okay, because you were leaving.
I left the podcast. I went in. I was only there till about 10:45, 11 o'clock in the morning. Because I knew that if I was there
an hour.
Yep, I was there till about 11 o'clock because I knew that if I was there past 11 o'clock, I was going to still be there at 9 o'clock at night.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
And I had the team there, and I knew they could handle it. And the team blew it out of the park.
Really?
They were ready. They were pumped. They were trying to break records. And when you got the team there excited to try and break records,
right?
It wasn't a matter of, oh my God, I got to work Father's Day. It was, I think we're going to break records today. We're going to break records. And this isn't just the manager. I mean, everybody had the mentality of we're going to kick ass and take names. And I'm telling you, we ran over 3,000 people through that restaurant.
Wow.
On Father's Day. We went a little over 3,200 people through there. We never once went over 11 minutes on a ticket time.
No way.
Never once did we go over 11 minutes. We
That's
lost
crazy.
power. We lost power to our kitchen 4 different times during the day.
You got to get that checked out.
Now, we've got an issue. We've got a power issue. We've overloaded a circuit in our kitchen. We got way too much shit going. We run 600 amp 3-phase power into our kitchen, or into our restaurant. And we've put so much new equipment into there with walk-in coolers and CVAP equipment. We've overloaded one phase of our power, and we're trying to get that rectified. We are overloading one phase. So when we get to peak power, we are shutting down the power grid into the kitchen. We shut it down 4 times that day. Okay. Just to give you an idea.
still.
We can handle about our restaurant. If you're killing it in our restaurant, we can handle a little over $5,000 an hour.
Right.
That's our revenue. That's about what we can push. We
Right.
can push $5,000 an hour. We may be able to get to $5,200 an hour. Now, this is not catering. This is just
across the
straight
counter.
walking.
Mm-hmm.
This is across the counter, carry out and dine in.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
3 times we went over $7,000 an hour on Father's Day.
Holy.
Wow.
Yeah, we broke
Holy Toledo.
last year's record by $5,200.
No kidding.
Yeah, just blew it out of the water. Just
Incredible.
blew it out of the water. I mean, our slowest hour was like $4,000. I mean,
That's
it was crazy. We
insane.
catered in meals. We catered in meals. We had people in walk-in coolers trying to cool them down. Just trying to get people. Nobody ever had to take a piss because they were so dehydrated, and we had them on
Sure.
Gatorade Zero, and they were just knocking our labor. I mean, normally, you want your labor to run 25%. Our
Right.
labor was less than 10% for the day.
Just
And
because
we
of
were
the
paying
volume.
people just because of the volume. And we were paying people. I mean, they get paid. Our employees, when
Yeah.
they work that day, they get paid $5
Yeah.
an hour bonus just to be there.
yeah.
Right.
So they get $5 an hour plus their tips, because tips are always crazy. I mean, most employees that are working there that day, they're making over $30 an hour minimum.
Really?
So
Yeah,
they're getting
Father's
paid.
Day's the day
They
to
all
work.
want to
Yeah.
work that. They all want to work that
Mhm.
day. So
Do
they're
they
there
really?
to work. Oh yeah, they
Yeah.
want to work that day. They're there.
Not the
That's a big
oh
day.
fuck.
No,
No,
there's
it's a
no
big
oh
day.
fuck there. There's no time for oh fuck there.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah,
Say, do
it
they
was
get beat?
it was crazy. But I still go, and people like, how do you do that? How do you do that? And I'm like, well, it's real easy. It's real easy. You prep up for it. Prep up. Last year we sold 400 racks of ribs on Father's Day. This year we pumped it up and we said, let's go to 440 racks of ribs. Went to 440 racks of ribs. We ran out at just before 7:00.
Really?
But to me, I go back to everybody's getting it wrong because they're trying to overcharge. Just don't overcharge. Just charge a reasonable price
Right.
and make it up in volume. Right?
Right.
Just be reasonable with your prices. Don't try and gouge anybody. Give everybody especially on Father's Day and stuff, give everybody a chance to feed their family at a reasonable price, and you'll make it up in volume.
Huh.
That's
Yeah.
impressive.
So
So
we
the
still
cus-
have. Even last week or yesterday. I mean, yesterday we had a huge day on the Saturday before. Yesterday we only did $2,000 less than we did last week. I mean,
Really?
we're still killing it because, there's all these talks of restaurants closing in Ankeny, and I'm like, they just don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're closing because you go in and they're trying to sell you a $15, $16 an hour dollar sandwich.
Yeah.
Have you ever
Yeah.
tried to figure out that if you just sell it for $10 or $11, you'd sell 3 times as many and get people through your door and pay your overhead?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they're not. Evidently, people are saying, "Oh, the market's."
I was going to say, do
there's
you
a
think they're
cafe-
just trying to stay within the market, but wouldn't you want to kind of be
I
below
think
the market anyway?
they're evidently listening to the wrong people, because I go to a new cafe for breakfast since ours isn't quite open yet, but a different whole nother subject. But I go to this cafe, and a Cisco rep's been coming in this cafe, and she's trying to open for lunch, and the guy's trying to serve this, put a burger. She's trying to open a lunch menu and trying to do this 3rd-pound burger. And he's like, well, you need to charge at least $13.99 for this burger. And this is this hometown cafe. And trying to charge it to third, she's like, well, what do you think? And I said, well, you're going to be kind of pissed when mine's $6. And she's like, what? And I'm like, well, it's a 3rd-pound burger. Even premium ground beef from them is $4.50. So a 3rd pound means it's $1.50, and you're going to put it on a 25-cent bun. Okay, so that sounds like $1.75, or that's $1.75 and 25 cents worth of condiment. That's $2 at 30-cent for food cost. That's $6, right? So where's $13.99 come from? I don't get it. So
and the Cisco rep is wanting them to charge 13 for it.
they're at $13.99.
Do they get a
$13.99 just for the burger?
Or do they get a
No.
cut of that?
No.
So that doesn't make any sense.
I just don't understand. And I don't care what the market is, but
Right.
make yourself a fair margin, right? Don't try and gouge the customer. That's the problem is everybody
I
keeps
kinda
trying
agree
to
with you.
gouge.
Everyone's so money hungry.
Right? I mean, you could charge them $10 for the burger, and it's still going to be $5 less than anybody else, and you'll make millions.
Yeah.
Right.
But you just have to. And don't undercharge.
Right.
But
You don't want to hurt yourself.
make it where you can make. And I understand a lot of people. You still got to pay your rent. You still got to do that. I understand that. And for us, it's very easy because we have huge volumes, and a lot of smaller restaurants. You have to cover that. I understand your rent's a lot more. You got to cover that.
Yeah.
And it's a lot harder. We're very blessed to have a big restaurant, and you can cover those spaces. I'm hearing like in the Ankeny Prairie Trail District, there's a flurry of these restaurants that fail after the first year. And I'm like, yeah, they do. I mean, they're paying $14,000 in rent for a 3,000 or 4,000 square foot. I'm like,
Right.
there's no way.
That's crazy.
There's no way. I can't make that. There's no way you could.
You
do
can't
that.
make it
There
work.
is there is no way. I can put all the magic tricks to work. There is no way that works. You cannot make that work. So why even try? But what happens is the real estate guys, they dangle that bait in front of them with cheap rent the first year, and then they get through the first year, and guess what? Then they can't. Make
they
it
raise
work,
the
and
rent.
so then they end up they get all the equipment back, and they get all that stuff that they paid for. They get it back as collateral, and then they get it to somebody else, and here it goes.
So what you're saying is they're paying the rent's what's hurting them as much as anything.
Oh, I think the rent's hurting them as much as anything, and I think the second one is they don't know how to run a damn restaurant, don't know how to run a business. I think they're really good at food. I think they're really good at food, not good at running a business. Well, you know how much running a restaurant has to do with food? 0 or 2%.
Right.
Right? Learn how to run a business. Food means nothing. I mean, you don't have to. You don't have to be. You can learn how to run food. Just go on Instagram for a day. Go on TikTok for a day. You can learn how to do food.
No,
Yeah,
kidding.
exactly.
It's not hard. Go watch YouTube for a day. You can learn how to cook a burger. I mean, that's all. The entire feed today is how to cook a smash burger. How many ways is there to cook a smash burger?
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of it out there.
You take a burger and you smash it and you cook it over. You cannot fuck up a smash burger.
I'm going to
You
try.
can't fuck it up.
I've never
gonna
cooked
try to
a
make a
smash
smash
burger.
burger.
How can you fuck up a smash burger?
I don't know. I'm
I've
talented.
never tried.
I'm
you have to
talented
do
in
is-
all the wrong ways.
Smash it, and when all of a sudden it gets beads of sweat on top of it, flip it over. As soon as you flip it over, put cheese on top of it. When the cheese just starts to melt, take it off.
Okay. That seems easy
All
enough.
you gotta do. It's easy.
I made burgers the other day.
I saw a
All
place.
by myself.
I was in a place the other day. Talking, kind of going back to how you were cooking your burgers. I noticed they were doing pretty thick burgers. You know, probably a third pound. You know, nice. They were Wagyu, ground Wagyu, and they were pretty nice burgers. And what they were doing, I was watching them. They were pretty well done, and then they just put them on their flat top, and as you've talked before, squirted the water and put the lid on them.
Yeah.
And boy, they could really crank those things out of there doing that.
Yeah, the Blackstone's where it's at. I'm cooking a lot of, Sherry and I tried to do this healthy thing and eat healthy, and she was in the mood for a broth the other day, and I was in the mood for peppers and onions. I don't know why. I just love peppers and onions, red peppers, yellow peppers and onions, just really thick cut, really like inch thick, 3/4 inch thick. So I said, okay, you want brats, whatever. So I took these Tiefenthaler brats, which are these skinless brats, and you're supposed to cook them from frozen. I said, thawed a couple of those. So we thawed them out, and I took these peppers and onions and I put them on the flat top, just sprayed with a little Pam, put a little seasoning on them, a little salt, pepper on them. And then I took that brat and I cut it up into little pieces. and I put on the flat top with them peppers and onions and just kind of stir fried, tossed it in there, and then cut it up
Right.
in the broth even more. And I put that in a low carb tortilla, and there was enough 2 brats and 1 pepper,
Ooh,
1
that
onion,
sounds
and,
good.
and whatever, 2 peppers and 1 onion, and put down a low carb tortilla. I'm telling you, 550 calories made us 2 huge tacos each, and I couldn't hardly eat it all. And for 550 calories, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
a calorie counter now, right? But
Right.
man, oh my God, it was like
Sounds tasty.
craving because
Tasty.
It was so good. It was just a different way of getting that brat and filling rather than just having a brat on a bun.
Right.
Mhm.
It
Right.
was so good. Man, it was good. I want to go home and have another one.
That sounds good.
You'd be back on the grill.
Be back on the grill. That Blackstone is. I think I like the Blackstone better than anything.
Huh.
Yeah. I haven't asked my
broke
mom
down
if
and
she
bought
got one yet.
but I'm going to have to.
You better get
I
the
gotta
Blackstone, Randy. Just get the
Yeah,
big one.
Randy, just do it.
Just get the 32-incher or whatever. Just get the Blackstone.
Don't fiddle fuck around getting a small one. And
No, just get the big one. I got the small one. It's never big enough. Even if just get the big one.
yeah.
Just do it.
You don't have to get the fancy one with the
Go
air
big
fryer
or
and
go
all this other
home.
bullshit. Just get the 28 or 32 or whatever it is. Just get it.
Be nice to have
God.
we do prep work on Mondays, and we feed the crew,
Yeah.
and it'd be nice to have that and fry up some stuff, do some stuff on that with it.
Yeah, exactly. Be making money off of it. No time.
You could do your research and development on that for your food truck for
That's true.
Yeah, we could, and fire up our flat top back on the food truck.
Yep.
Well, you guys got
Do we
anything
have
else?
Anything else?
I don't have anything else.
I don't think
I
I
just
do
wish
either.
it'd cool off a little bit.
No kidding.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to. I think we're getting ready for we're going to head out to Blackfoot, Idaho this week. Cook a barbecue contest. That's going to be interesting. I think I'm going to do the 1-can challenge, but I'm going to do the 1-can challenge up at 5,000 foot elevation. So it's going to be quite interesting.
Yeah,
I'm excited to
bet it
hear how
will
that
be.
goes.
Yeah.
You haven't done a
we'll
1-can
do
challenge
that,
in
and
a
then we're gonna
while.
Come back and I got tons of work happening at the breakfast restaurant. We have air conditioning now, so we got the air conditioning
Woohoo!
unit set.
Ooh,
We got the plumber kicked out of there, so the floor's all poured and the plumbing's in.
Nice.
The electrician's almost done. We're ready for FRP on the walls, and as soon as we get the electrician out another day, we'll get the electrician out, the FRP in. We're ready to get the ceiling back in, the countertops on, and now we've decided to put all new floors throughout. So now I have to go haul the rest of all the tables and equipment out so that we can redo all the floors instead of
Right.
just the kitchen ones.
sounds like things are progressing.
This became quite a project. Like a renovation
what
project.
Started out as what all started out as just let's put an air conditioner and a coat of paint on, and has
Yeah.
turned into really a total renovation.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
gotta love it.
yeah,
Your coming soonish sign is very cute, though. I drove past it the other day.
yeah, yeah. The
It's
it's coming. It's coming soonish. All right, ish.
emphasis
So,
on the ish.
I don't know. I think we're closing in on a monthish ish.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I don't know.
Shooting for
I think
August?
4th of July is going to. I think 4th of, huh?
Like shooting for August
we're-
open.
We're still
like-
hoping for the end of July now, so we'll see. 4th of July may screw us. It just depends on the
Tends to do
timing
that.
of my electrician. If we can get the electrician out and get some stuff done, because I need a full week on the floors, so with nobody
Yeah.
on it. So
Yeah, with 4th
Hmm.
of July being on a Thursday, kind of,
Yeah,
it'll screw the whole week.
yeah, it
Um,
does.
we've actually picked up a big event on that Friday up in Springfield that historically they've had 7,000 to 10,000 people at.
Yeah.
So we're going to
Goose
take the
jinxed
food
it.
truck up for it, and Yeah. So see how things go. And there's a guy that he has does corn dogs. He's been doing it for like 40 something years. When he told me he had been there 6 years in a row, that's like, oh, okay, must be a pretty good
must
event.
Be something to this.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I'll be curious to hear how that goes.
Yeah, me too. And I'm going to have the fabulous Lawless girls helping me, so it'll go great. So,
yeah,
that's good.
I'm just going to take that weekend off.
Any more pop-ups, Randy? You ready for any more pop-ups?
No, not until after maybe August 1st.
That's fair.
Because
let the food truck close.
Well, yeah, the food truck will slow down then because I lose all my help. So then we'll be able to get stuff maybe on some weekends and things like that, some pop-ups.
Yeah,
going. Okay. We're doing a deal this we're recording on a Sunday, and we're actually something very against my religion, but we're doing a food truck event this afternoon at a concert in Jacksonville. So
that'd be fun.
And we were requested by the band and one of the promoters to have food there. So
it's a good deal.
Boy.
So it should be a pretty decent.
You better go get your red shirt on, buddy. You got to get to work.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Where the overalls at?
No red shirt, just a blue shirt the Twyford blue shirt or black.
I think you should invest in the overall shorts. I think that would be good for you.
I think this session of Cue the Mic is over with. Because obviously she's taken some type of narcotics while we've been on the air.
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
The only good thing about that picture, the only good thing about that picture.
What?
Was the background.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, you guys.
I'll leave it at that.
I was with my parents. It was my mom's idea. She said, "Send a picture of those to Randy. Tell him he needs some."
Well, just tell her the only good thing about that picture was the background, and Randy and I both agree.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure those were like teenagers, you weirdos. Okay. Gross. Anyway, you guys got anything else? Is that it? Is that it for episode?
That's it. That's
62?
That's it.
Okay, guys. Well, follow us on social media if you don't. At Cue the Mic Pod. Find us on YouTube at Cue the Mic Podcast. Leave episode suggestions because we are running out of them. So, we could always use more ideas. I check those forums. I check the DMs. I do all the things. So, yeah. Let us know what you guys want to hear about. And, Randy, take it away.
Boom. Out of here. Finished. Done.
Okay. We'll see you guys next week.
See you.